Good morning. I hope you're doing good. I'm just gonna be reacting to another video from DPA, Defense Politics Asia. So without saying that, let's dive right back into it. Let's go.
This is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the quick update over at the situation of the Ukrainian counter-offensive. So the Ukrainian counter-offensive is still pretty debatable. In my opinion, it had already started its phase one, like this initial phase where you send your forces, your recon forces, and DRGs or commando units or scouts to scout out where is the enemy positions. Some of them are reconnaissance in force, and this is to me the first phase of any offensive. I don't expect the offensive to be like the kind of like a World War II D-Day kind of offensive. If you look at most offensives, I don't think it works that way. But anyway, before I start off with some of the other information, the Prigozhin actually gave the Wagner Group boss actually gave a good information on the 22nd of April on his Telegram channel, the Concord Group _official. He mentioned that the offensive is not begun for an obvious reason because of the monstrous slush. This is actually referring to the mud. The ground situation is really still very muddy, that even pickup trucks do not pass normally through the fields. So not to mention Urals, which is actually the lorries, the big trucks, heavy equipment, and the tanks. So the soil still need 10 days to dry out. So 10 days from the 22nd means that if this is 22nd, 10 days will be 7, 8, 9, 10. Still going into the early of May. So it will be around 2nd, 3rd of May. So it will be sometime before the big scale offensive will begin. And before that will happen, the Ukrainians will be trying to probe the lines to see where are the weak spots. The Russians will be using their artillery to shell the hell out of any reserve or accumulation of forces in the rear. So there are however, some progress in the Kherson front. In the Ukrainian forces cross over to the bridge. It's not bridge. Cross over the river, over to the area south of Kherson. So there is this island where this small town of Dachi exists. So this area here, previously they have already taken this part. So now they cross over to the other side, and they are capturing the eastern part of the Dachi town area. So this on its own actually is not very significant, although it was largely celebrated or got very excited on Twitter, which I saw when it first happened. This entire area is not really controlled by Russia, because this is considered actually some kind of a gray zone of sort, where I think the Russians are actually at Oleshki, but this is actually separated by a river, so the Konka River. So this is, if you actually zoom in, you can see that this is actually much more like an island of salt, and there is some roads that actually they can go through. For example, they can go through in this way. This on its own is not very significant. Any accumulation of forces in this island area is going to get artillery strike to hell. It's going to be really hard to accumulate a significant force, and this force is going to have a terrain problem to traverse through. So it would not be very wise to accumulate forces in this area. This is likely to be some kind of diversionary attack. Reminds me of the Battle of Singapore, where the Japanese forces actually landed on an island, drawing forces into the eastern part of Singapore, while the real landing actually coming from the west. So this, I do not think much of this. Other parts of the front, we have some fighting reported at Melinivka. So according to the Russian Defense Ministry, on the 20th and 23rd, the Ukrainians actually launched some DRG attacks south to Melinivka. And this is largely the only thing that is happening over at Zaporizhia in terms of the ground offensive. As you can see, the Russians are bombarding Chervone and Belahia. So and previously they did shell Kayamske, Mala Tomashka, in the previous SIBREP around 4 or 5 days ago. So that's all from the Zaporizhia. It looks really quiet in this sense. And over at the Donetsk front, we have the Ukrainians trying to attack Polivka, trying to create a bigger zone of security around Voleda. However, this was not successful. As you can see, this is pretty open, the ground. Any move towards Polivka can be taken out, and that especially there is a river, the Kashlahash River, so that it is not so easy to come back down and recapture Polivka. Other than that, we have let me see, is there any attack at the Adiyevka? No. So the other Ukrainian offensive reaction is actually let me see, in Bilohorivka. In the Luhansk region, there is some counterattack, allow the Ukrainians to capture back the ground around this area here, and then there is some fighting reported at Dibrova as they push northward. This happens on the 22nd, and most of the actions actually is in the Kupiansk Sviatove front. So in this area, you can see there's a lot of blue icons. The Ukrainian forces reportedly has been probing the forces at Sinkivka, at Liman Pershi. At this area is the Timkovka region, Kaislivka, Kromaune, Berestove, Novoselivske, Stemekivka as well. This is area, I think it's Andrievka. So as you can see, the probing is actually pretty intense in this front here. So not sure if this will represent some kind of offensive eventually, or could this be a very elaborate or very expensive diversionary attack, diversionary action to draw Russian forces into this area. As you can see, if the intensity of this probing will be pretty concerned for the Russian forces, where they will actually concentrate more forces into this area here, and this might actually impact other front lines if they are drawing forces from other front line. But as far as my understanding goes, the Russian forces do have enough troops and units to actually not need to draw forces from other lines. So let's see how this goes. So anyway, this is the quick update over at the situation of the Ukrainian counter-offensive, and we tentatively, there are also rumors talking about 8th of May. So based on Prigozhin's words, it's around 2nd of May. And we also need to understand that the grounds do not dry up in the same way. There is this if you saw the leaked documents, it actually goes in waves. It slowly get drier and drier. So the south here will okay, so let me do this. So this area will dry up first, then the Zaporizhia, Donetsk region, then the Kharkiv region. So it will go in this direction. So it doesn't dry up all at the same time. So this is not a computer game. It will take some time. Although this.
Okay, no problem. I hope you guys understood it. This was an African reaction. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time on my channel. Thank you.